Welcome to the specially called Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Today, the only item on our agenda is case number CP 2023-001. Applicants Thomas and Zana Gill are requesting a conditional use permit for property located at 1490 West McNeil, R33490, being Southside Addition, Block 6, Lot 1A, 1B, 2, 2A, 3, 4, 5, PT of 1B of the City of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas. Mr. Killen.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for being able to show up tonight for this specially called meeting. I believe it will be fairly brief. So, as you mentioned, this is for a property on Lillian Street. It's bordered by McNeil and Long Street. It's west of the cemetery. The applicant is Mr. and Mrs. Gill, and they're requesting a conditional use permit to allow the construction of a parking lot that will be utilized by the Tarleton State University Texas A&M system. It will be a temporary lease agreement, and this will allow parking in the area as they finalize the construction of their parking garage there in the 1900 block of Washington. As you know, we have significant parking issues, especially around the university, and this would provide some relief. Mr. Gill owns the property, and he does not have any immediate construction plans on the property. However, this Tarleton approached him, and certainly this would relieve some of the constrictions we have, as stated, and I believe would provide just relief to the students as well. So with that, Madam Chair, I don't have a lot of additional detail. It is for a conditional use permit, and in your packet, we included the conditional use number 2 under section 5.6.c, and we consulted with our city attorney. This would allow the parking lot under a common facility as the principal use of one or more platted lots in the subdivision. Tarleton, I will note, has a property that is just due north of this, across from his property, across from Mr. Gill's property. They own a parcel that is currently being utilized for parking. Once Tarleton owns it, they don't have to meet our land use regulations. However, since Mr. Gill retains ownership, he did not want to go through a rezoning process, but he was interested in the conditional use. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Steve?
I got a few questions. Right now, there's just vegetation on it, right? Just weeds and stuff, is that correct?
That's correct. It's a vacant lot.
Are you gonna put asphalt on it?
Let's, I'll bring up the,
Okay, sorry.
okay. Any other questions for Steve? Mr. and Mrs. Gill, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Our intent is
I'm sorry, if you could come up to the microphone so listeners online can hear you.
Oh,
And if you just could state your name and your address.
my name's Thomas Gill, 1085 County Road 275.
Thank you, sir.
Our intent, long-term, is to build. We were approached by the university several months ago. This conditional use is, from our perspective, only for the term of the lease agreement,
Which is how many years?
which is, we're still negotiating. I
Okay.
actually just got an email from A&M while we were sitting here about the term. They requested 5 to 7 years, so that's what we're working on.
Okay, and it sounds like one of the questions our commissioners had was, I imagine they'll do asphalt there on the land?
That is, my understanding is a requirement, city requirement. And as property owners, that's what we're holding to. My concern initially was being caught between an entity that had no responsibility to the city and us being citizens that do, and property owners, and that's why we're here.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, are there any questions?
I was just wondering if it's gonna get finished out like the actual.
The proper parking lot, it sounds like it
If
will.
there's not really gonna be a plan on it, I just kind of
Okay.
curious.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yeah.
ordinance does require it to be a sealed surface. Again, while it's owned by Mr. Gill, if Tarleton owned the lot, then they would not be subject to our land use regulations, so.
And
Under
I
this
have no-
agreement,
I don't know if, maybe I shouldn't speak. I have no intent to sell it. It's already,
so under this agreement, it would have to meet the sealed service requirement.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, I'll go ahead and open a public hearing. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak in favor of this conditional use request? Is there anybody here who wishes to speak against this conditional use permit request? All right, then I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Commissioners, I need a motion.
I move that we recommend approval of CP 2023-001.
Second.
Do we need to discuss? All those in favor of do we need to recommend to council?
Yes.
Yeah, recommend to council approval of this conditional use request, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, so your next stop is city council, where they will make the final determination, but our recommendation goes forward that they approve this request.
Thank you, and again, I want to echo Steve's comments earlier. Thank you all for this special meeting. We really appreciate it, and hopefully everything's going to work out and we'll provide some relief
Yes, sir.
for this part of the situation.
Thank you very much. Commissioners?
Move to adjourn.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming. Appreciate your time.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah.